Uh, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, Min. Um, Thank you for your participation for this interview. As spoken before, this interview is conducted for my doctorate in business administration research study with regards to the impact of B40 entrepreneurs due to the introduction of a low value good tax LVGT and 8% service tax that was introduced back in 2024. This interview will solely be used for this research and only for this research purposes only. Since we're not able to conduct a physical interview, we will conduct this interview via Zoom meeting. Hence, this recording and transcript will be used in the future for the research study. Do you consent in us conducting this interview and using this interview for the research?
Yeah, sure. I give my consent.
Okay, thank you very much. With that being said, let's start with our interview. So can you please state your name? Because you chose anonymity, you can skip this. Your age, your current location, um, and can you provide a brief overview of your business, your current role within the business, and your experience in your related business industry?
Um, you want my age? I'm currently 29 and I'm currently at KL. Sorry, what was the question after that? After my location?
Can you provide a brief overview of your business?
Oh, my overview. Well, I guess my business is that I basically just sell Chocojar snack, which is of course homemade and under my own self-made brand.
For how long have you been doing this business of Chocojar?
Oh, well, I've been doing this since 2020 and it's still I'm currently still doing business until today. I basically have three different flavors. I normally sell online via WhatsApp and Facebook, but I mainly sell to my office coworkers who provide steady weekly orders. Yeah, so as I mentioned, it's homemade, so I make the products at my house once per week, every weekend, depending how busy I am, and yeah, I try to sell it every day.
I see. Thank you for that. So for the third question that I want to ask, can you share a rough estimate of of how much your total income per month that you receive solely from your business and the total income after combined from other form of income streams? Basically, how much do you make from your Chocojar business as well as any form of income?
Well, this business is kind of small, so I make normally around 400 ringgit per month. Sometimes higher, sometimes lower. It's a business. You have your highs and lows. But alhamdulillah, I have a full-time job at NAMNC. So from there, I make around 2,800 ringgit. So combining both of the income would be around 3,200.
I see. That's it seems like you're doing okay there. The next question that I want to ask is, based on the income that you mentioned just now, what income group do you feel that you belong to after considering all relevant factors such as your marital status, your income, your financial commitments, and other factors that may impact your opinion on what income group that you belong in?
I guess I would say probably in B40, simply because my husband's not working, so I'm the sole how you say breadwinner. But I hope to be M40 one day. Who knows? But if I lose my job again, maybe I'll try to make this business full time. Who knows?
I see. So if given the opportunity, you would want to try to make this business as a full-time venture?
Yeah, if there's a demand, obviously I'll be going at full time because at least I can make my own time, be my own boss. But since it's still a small business, I think I'd have to make it part time for now.
I see. Understood. Thank you for that. The next question that I want to ask is, Can you describe how the introduction of the low value goods tax, LVGT, and 8% service tax, 8% SST, in early 2024 has affected your business financial performance, including changes in revenue streams, profit margins, and overall financial stability?
Well, I heard about LVGT and the increase of SST from the news. It was kind of a hot topic at that time. So I recognized that financial changes were going to happen. But, I wasn't worried at the beginning since all my products are homemade. So the new taxes wouldn't apply much really. So no, I haven't been affected much by LVGT and SST. But I order my Chocojar containers from overseas in bulk, and that got charged LVGT. So I was affected slightly since it was 10%. And plus, my stick suppliers increased their prices since SST were introduced, but only slightly. So I wasn't really that worried. So overall, it didn't really have a financial impact, but it did have an financial impact, but not a lot.
I see. So just to clarify, it the LVGT and 8% SST did impact your financials, but not a lot.
Correct.
I see. Thank you for that. The next question that I want to ask is how have you adapted your financial strategies or decision-making processes in response to the fiscal changes brought upon by the imposition of LVGT and 8% SST? Basically, did these fiscal financial changes impacted your business strategy that you had or any of your decision-making strategies that you had for your business?
Um, how I adapted to manage these changes was simple, really. I just changed suppliers. For my overseas container supplier, I simply bought from local because thanks to LVGT, it's more or less the same price. So for the 8% SST, I found another sticker supplier that was cheaper. So again, it didn't really affect my finances at all.
I see. And just to clarify one more time, even though it did affect slightly to your financial, it did nevertheless still impact it in some way.
Yeah, correct.
I see. Thank you for that. The next question that I want to ask is, in what ways do you perceive the introduction of LVGT and 8% SST as impacting the broader financial landscape for the business health of B40 Malaysian entrepreneurs? How do you anticipate these fiscal changes affect the financial viability and sustainability of other businesses within the B40 income group? Basically, in short, do you think other business people will be affected by these changes? And how much of a changes do you think that it will impact towards other business?
I would say LVGT and SST increase does affect, but again, not that much really. It's because the rate is small, so any changes is not that big. I personally support this LVGT because it kind of pushes us to buy local. Buying overseas, it's good, but consider to you need to consider to balance the needs of the local suppliers and businesses as well. So on top of SST, we already had it. It only increased by a small 2%, so you shouldn't be worrying at all.
I see. So, in your opinion, you think that the introduction is in a way good to happen?
Yeah, I guess kind of. Yeah. Yeah. I personally support this LVGT. Yeah.
And based on your experience, do you foresee that other business as well will face a similar experience as you did?
I mean, I hope they also see my share the same opinion as me. Whereby we move to buy from locals instead of overseas.
I see. Thank you. Thank you. Moving on, can you FCD. Okay. Moving on, can you describe how can you describe how the introduction of the LVGT and 8% SST in 2024 has affected your business operations, and what were the challenges?
Well, it definitely impacted my operations, but I guess in a good way. I had to change my suppliers, as I mentioned previously. It was a hassle, but it needed to be done after I saw the problems that were going to happen once LVGT and 8% SSD kicks in. But at the end of the day, it was doable.
I see. So, it did similar to the financial aspect. It did impact you, but it impacted to you slightly.
Correct. Yeah, not that much.
Okay, okay. Um, the next question is, how have you adapted your operations to address any challenges arising from these tax changes?
I had to change my approach. First focus on finding local suppliers, then second, finding cheaper suppliers. Because as a business person, we have to always adapt and change for our business environment. So changing and adapting is the norm here.
I see. So, regardless, your business operations has to change with accordance to the changes made on the national level. For in this
Mm,
instance, with the introduction of LVGT and increase of 8% SST, obviously the market has changed, the operations has changed, and because of that, it had to change your operations, business operations as well.
correct.
Okay, thank you. The next one, can you elaborate on how effective was the changes you had to make to ensure maintaining a good business health by pursuing overall efficiency and standardization of your business operations in response to the introduction of LVGT and SST? Basically, in short, can you let me know that if you made any changes due to LVGT and SST, was those changes good, effective, and overall, how was the changes made done affected your business health? Was it good or was it bad?
All the changes to my operation that I made was okay, I guess. Nothing good except I now focus on local suppliers. Nothing that bad except my profit slightly reduced thanks to the change of suppliers. So overall, my business operations was impacted, but my business remained efficient and operational.
I see. But overall, in a nutshell, just to confirm, you saw that with the changes brought upon by LVGT and 8% service tax, it did in some way, rather either small or large, did affected your operations toward your Chocojar business.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, thank you for that. Moving on, the next question that I would like to ask is, can you describe any noticeable changes in consumer behavior that you have observed within your market segment following the introduction of the LVGT and 8% SSD in 2024? Basically, you mentioned that you have been doing this Chocojar business since 2020. Um, so obviously you've been in the snack chocolate industry for nearly 4 years now. So you are quite familiar with the the consumer behavior. So with the with that being said, with the introduction of the LVGT and 2000 and the 8% SST that was introduced this year, did you see any changes happening towards your consumer base, your customers? Were they any different as compared to 2023 and the year before?
I did notice some small changes with my customers in my market, which were good for me, obviously. It looked like people prefer to buy physical oval online to save costs from LGBT and SST. I don't know if it's a coincidence, but yeah, people prefer to buy physically than if they can. I mostly sell face to face. I don't rely on online. So yeah, I benefit from this change of customers.
I see. Thank you for that. Next question that I would like to ask is, how have these changes affected your business operations and strategies? If so, were it a positive or negative changes to your business health? Basically, with the changes towards your customer base, were those changes good for your business health? Was it good or was it bad? Can you elaborate more on that, please?
I would say good changes since more people have been ordering on my WhatsApp, but the changes are still minimal. The taxes affected my financials, and even with extra customers, I still make more or less the same before LVGT and 8% happened. My operations were affected, so I would say my business health remained okay and not that bad. Just make sure you develop a new and correct strategy for your business to face the changes.
I see, I see. So, you would it's fair to say that uh, in order to survive any changes that happen due to this, you just have to adapt the right strategies to um, adapt accordingly to the market and demands. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct, correct. Of
Okay,
course.
thank you for that. Moving on, in your opinion, how has
Mm-hmm.
the competitive landscape for B40 Malaysian entrepreneurs shifted because of the implementation and enforcement of LVGT and 8% SST? Can you provide example of specific challenges or opportunities that have arisen for your business within this transformed market? In a nutshell, you mentioned that your market and demand impacts have been changed. So do you see that your customer as well as your fellow Malaysian entrepreneurs in the B40 group will also similarly change and be shifted similar to what you have done because of the LBGT and business tax? On top of that, can you provide any examples if you can give any examples?
Yeah, it definitely changed. In my opinion, and based on my knowledge, more people will do their best to seek local products instead. It's cheaper than buying overseas. So I take this opportunity to have full local supplier and full local meat product. The the industry and market has transformed, so I have to transform as well.
I see. So, you made a point that because of the changing market and changing demands, you also had to make your own changes yourself. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, of course.
I see. Okay, thank you. Moving on to the last part. Can you elaborate on the specific business adaptation strategies that you have implemented in response to the introduction of the LVGT and 8% SST in 2024? How have these strategies contributed to ensuring the survival and sustainability of your business amidst the fiscal transformation? In short, obviously, based on our interview here, you mentioned that you had to do some form of changes in your strategies, changes in your business management. Basically, all your strategies or some of your strategies had to be changed in response to these changes. It would be really good if you can elaborate more on how your business adapted to this, and as well as how effective and how good your business adaptation strategies was amidst this changing dynamics in order to maintain the survival of your business.
Since the cost of stickers have increased thanks to SST and LVGT, I googled ways to make my own stickers. There's a machine that I can buy to print the stickers on a smaller scale that I can use. So I never knew that was possible before, but now I do, and I'm saving money to buy it. Once I have it, it will innovate by creating a new chain supplier, which is myself, for cost saving measures.
I see. So, one of the ways that your business had to adapt was to do uh to do new strategy. So, example, like your sticker machine.
Yeah, my sticker, my
Oh,
stickers.
I see. Okay. Okay, thank you for that. The next question would be, could you discuss any challenges you encountered while implementing the identified business adaptation strategies that could affect your business health, such as innovation in product offerings, diversification of revenue streams, strategic pricing adjustment, establishment of new supply chains, or exploration of new market opportunities. So this basically means that you mentioned that because of these changes introduced by LVGT and SST, you had to adapt your business. And one of the strategies of adaptation that you had to choose was to introduce a new form of innovate in a way, a new form of supply, which was your sticker that you mentioned just now. Um, could you elaborate on that? On the establishment of, in your case, the potential establishment of a new supply chain? Can you elaborate more on that, please?
Yes. So as I mentioned, it is kind of tough for me to do the plan of buying my own sticker making machine. It's hard because it's expensive. Plus, I don't have the time to learn how to use it. But I can learn slowly, and hopefully it will be easy after a while. But once I do achieve it, I won't have to rely on any other sticker supplier anymore. So that solves one of the problems that I had to face from LVGT and SSD. Who knows? I may even do a small scale sticker printing business since I already have that machine. It may even solve my financial problems in the future thanks to my multiple streams of income.
I see. So just to clarify, because of the introduction of the LVGT and SST, you had to find a newer and cheaper supplier, and after research, it led you to conclude that one of the ways and strategies was to be your own supplier, which is to have your own sticker machine. So do you foresee that being your own supplier is one of the ways that you adapted to these changes?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah, definitely.
oh, okay, that's good to hear. Okay, the next question is that I want to ask is, how did you overcome these challenges faced during implementing the identified business adaptation strategies, and what lessons did you learn from the process? In short, you mentioned that you had some difficulties in applying your strategies, which was to be your own supply chain. So what were the difficulty and challenges that you had to face in order to implement your business adaptation? And in the process, what did you learn? Was there any new knowledge and development that you gained during that process?
I saved a lot of money. The money gained from Chang'an, my suppliers, I kept that too. All the money saved, I'm saving it for the small sticker printing machine. And once I have enough, I will buy it and use it for my business. But in the meantime, I'm learning a lot on how to develop the necessary skills and the knowledge on how to operate the machine. So yeah, once it arrives, I can straight away use it.
So in a way, what you're saying is, thanks to these recent changes, it it kind of in a way force you to, not force you, but compel you to go about and learn some form of new skills that you could implement and use for your actual business, and it may even potentially be a new source of income for the future. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, yeah. I learned new skill and it helped me financially as well.
I see. Thank you for that. And now we've reached the conclusion and the final question that I would like to ask. Is there anything you would like to share about your experiences due to the introduction of LVGT and 8% SST that we haven't covered yet in our discussion?
I guess if you are an online seller, you will be affected by LVGT and 8% SST. But if your main business is not on the online space like mine is, then not so much. Don't get me wrong, your business will still be affected, but I believe not that much. Just do your best to adapt and change your business to survive.
I see. So, it's fair to say that the introduction of LVGT and 8% SST would affect a lot of B40 entrepreneurs like yourself, but it depends on the situation and your business itself, for example, online or not online. It's from there that determines whether or not you will be affected largely or smallly. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
I see. But in your case, the impact has been quite minimal. Yes?
Yes, again, of course it impacted me, but not that much.
I see. Okay, thank you so much. That is all for this interview. Just a friendly reminder, this interview is recorded and will be used for the entire duration of my research study, which is in regards to LBGT and 8% service tax. So of course, this interview, sorry, will be made into video format as well as be transcribed. As well as from there, we will do our analysis on the transcription, and from there, it will be included in the dissertation as part of the primary data and analysis and the research. With that being said, do you consent for me to use the interview solely for the purpose of that research?
Yeah, of course, go ahead.
Okay, thank you so
I
much.
consent.
Thank you so much. Oh, sorry. Thank you so much. With that being said, I would like to end this interview first. I would like to say thank you for your participation in this meeting. We're grateful, and I want to know that your interview will greatly contribute a lot to this research, and for that, I give you my thanks.
No problem. Thanks so much for having me.
Okay, you're welcome, and thank you as well, and have a good day. Bye bye.
You too. Thank you. Bye bye.